Welcome back to Decorate Every Nail You Got. Woo! Today we're going to be talking about reverse stamping, and we are going to be discussing specifically how I do reverse stamping. There are lots of different ways and lots of people do lots of different things and use lots of different materials. I will discuss how I do it, and it works pretty well for me. So let's get started. I like to do reverse stamping on stamper heads. I like to actually do all of the stamping on the stamper, and then I will paint directly onto the stamper head. That's the method I choose. So our first tip or idea is for you to choose wisely when you're thinking about your the space that you can color in. So you just remember what parts of the plate are actually going to be able to be colored in. So think about, do you want to color in lots? Do you want to color in a little bit? So just spend some time thinking about that and remembering that the raised spots, those are the spots that will not come off on a stamp. So the raised spots are the spots that you will be able to color. Okay? So today, just to get an idea, I think I'm going to use this guy right here, and I chose him because I want a lot of my fingernail to be actually black. I only want the colors to be these pieces that you see here. So I'm going to use this one, and I don't know which fingernail I'm going to put it on yet. Okay, so I've got my materials. Let us do some stamping. I'm going to be using this guy right here, and I won't need the whole image because my index finger is kind of small. This one requires a little bit more paint than normal. Scrape, stamp. Oh, that's quite lovely. That's going to be a great colorful stamp. Okay. All of the polishes that I'm going to be using today are stamping polishes, and I did that on purpose. I like to use stamping polishes when I'm coloring in my image because they dry quickly. I don't want to sit here and wait for this thing to dry for 30 minutes, so many times it's dried in just a few minutes. So I want to make sure to apply a thin coat, and if I use stamping polish, then it's done rather quickly. Okay. Another tip is for me to only paint this part of the stamp that I'm actually going to be using. So I'm going to kind of measure up my index finger. It looks like it's really mainly the center and a little bit. So this outer edge, I'm not going to do anything with it because it's not going to be part of what's actually stamped onto my nail. So think about that before you waste your time stamping and then or coloring, and then you realize, oh crap, I don't even need that part of it. Just a thought. Before I actually start painting, I will show you the brush that I'm going to be using. I happen to get mine at Sally's, I think, many years ago. It's from Winning Nails Nail Art Brush. I don't know, it was a very expensive brush, and the reason that I ended up buying this, I think it was $11 or $12, but the reason I ended up buying it is because I had tried so many other cheap brushes that were supposed to be detail brushes, and they really weren't. This one is really nice. Because it gets a very, very fine, very detailed line, and this is one of my go-tos. I do have one other brush that I will use, but I'm really not sure what's going to happen if I have to give this guy up or if he breaks. Because I use him all the time, I do lots of reverse stamping. So definitely want a good detail brush when you're doing this. Sometimes when you're coloring in an image, the pressure that you use, so you'll notice I'm doing very lightly and nothing's happening to this. If I were to use something else, stiffer bristles, or some people like to use the dotting tools. If you use a dotting tool, there's a chance that the image is going to start rubbing off or coming off, and we don't want that. So just make sure that you're using really light motions and use a detail brush if you can with very soft bristles. Okay, so I'm going to begin, because this is stamping polish, it's going to dry quickly. I just put a little dab, use it up, and then put another little dab if I need it. So I've got 4 colors and 8 pieces really that I want to color in. I'll be coloring the silver right here and then across from this as well. Now remember, I'm not going to take it all the way because I don't need all that. Periodically, I'm going to turn it over so that I can see exactly what's happening. This is what's really nice about doing it on the stamper head. I can see how it's going to end up right now. So you can see that color on there already. And you can also see if you've missed any spots, which is nice. I'm going to do it to the other side as well. And because this is stamping polish, that side over there is probably almost dried. It's kind of nice. Okay, let's look for any holes. I don't see any, do you guys? And then it's on to the next color. So I'm going to make sure that I clean my brush in between uses, and I'm also going to clear off that piece right there. This silicone mat is really, really nice if you are going to be doing this sort of thing, because once you put this nail polish on here, it comes off really easily. Once again, it's stamping polish. Just a little dab will do ya. So at this point, I am going to speed up the video because I'm just coloring in the rest of the colors. So I use one color at a time, and I'm applying each color, and then notice every once in a while I'll turn it over so that I can make sure I'm doing it correctly. And I'm looking to see if there are any holes in the spaces that are supposed to be colored. And I'm also looking for any unevenness. If one part is a little bit darker gray than the other, then it might look a little funny. I tend to kind of clean up as I go, so after I use one color, I will clean up all of the stuff off the mat, whether it's dried or there's a little bit of extra. I will also clean up the brush. I want to make sure that there's no color on the brush that's going to transfer to another color, so I have to make sure to clean my brush as well. At this point, as a viewer, I would choose to go ahead and fast forward through the rest of the painting. Some of you will want to see it, but some of you won't. Feel free to fast forward, people. You're not going to hurt my feelings, okay? For those of you who stuck around, I'll let you in on a little secret. I actually started nail stamping because I am a crappy painter. That is an absolutely true statement. I found it very difficult to paint on nails, and because of that, I was looking for an alternative solution when I ran across some stamping plates on Amazon. And thank you, Maniology. Thank you. So I see some places that I missed, specifically by the very center. So I am going to go back in with all of the colors, and I'm just going to hit very close to that center line now.
And maybe right here, perhaps you feel the need to fast forward again. Once again, people, I'm not going to be hurt. Do it. I just wanted to make sure that anybody who is new to this got to see the whole process.
On a side note, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't leave one or two of the sections blank. If I had left it blank, then the white that was currently on my nails would have shown through the stamped image and become part of the design as well. So I think it probably would have been cool if I had left some of it blank. Okay, now that I'm finished painting, the next thing I'm going to do is give sufficient dry time. It's very important. You do not want this thing to still be wet when you put it on. It's going to smush everything. It's going to mess up the design. And worst, it's going to leave that wet, sticky yuckness underneath your top coat that whole time. So we definitely don't want that. Sometimes I give it up to 10 minutes, but really I don't think I usually need more than 10 minutes. As long as you've done a nice thin layer, you should be good to go. So let's give it some wait time. As a side note, while you're waiting for that guy to dry, if you have multiple stampers, you can actually do several stamps at the same time. So some people like to get 5 fingers worth of stamps and then stamp them all on. I tend to like to do mine one at a time, but like this is my hobby, so I spend time with this. A lot of people who don't have time don't want to do that. So yeah, you can use more stampers if you want. Okay, so here we have it. I've waited a good, it hasn't even been 10 minutes, it's probably been about 5. You'll notice that it's nice, and I can press it to check for it being dry. And you can see also that right now it won't come off. If I just roll it on here, it won't come off very easily. And that is where a lot of people experience a lot of problems with reverse stamping. They don't understand how to get it from here onto your nail. So you've got to have some kind of sticky substance. I happen to use a foil glue. So this is from Essence. This is a brand here in Germany. I don't know if this is sold in America. I've heard that maybe it has started to be sold in America. But you just want to look for anything that says foil glue. Some people use, I think it's called Orly Bonder, and some people just apply a thin clear coat and wait for it to get sticky. The point of this is that you want it to get sticky. Now, before we get that stickiness on there, liquid latex is your friend, people. So I'm going to be using my liquid latex because there will be excess stamp and I don't want to have to clean all of it up. So I'm going to put my liquid latex on first. Let's see if I can actually do this in the camera view. Okay, because there's going to be extra or excess stamp, it will get on the outside edges. And because you've done so much coloring with it, it can be quite a pain in order to get off of there. So as I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm also going to comment on the fact that I screwed it up. I meant to do silver and then red and then gray and then gold. So the silver and the gray weren't like next to each other, but I mean, it's okay. So yeah. And I did leave that hole in the middle. I left that blank because I think I'm going to put a bling in there. We'll see what happens. I don't know, people. You just never know with me. Okay, so now it's time for us to put our full glue that's still a little bit sticky. Liquid latex. I'm going to put it on, but then I'm going to wait for like 15 seconds. So I don't want to put it on directly afterwards. I want to give it a little bit of time to kind of settle in and get sticky. And I'm only going to put a thin layer, but I'm going to apply it everywhere. Because wherever you don't have that sticky surface, the stamp will not come off. So here we go. Making sure it's on every little bit. And you can see it's already starting to get sticky. I'm going to wait my 15 seconds. And then I'm going to position and stamp. People, we're doing it. Here we go. Ah! Let's see if I can. Oh, I hope this turned out right. No, it didn't. It's off center. That's okay though. It's still pretty cool. Oh my gosh, I think I like it off center. Man, I'm not even gonna redo that. That looks awesome. Okay, so you can see with my manicure, it does go. Kind of excited about it. Okay, so for another tip, I use my cuticle pusher and I actually use this sharp edge. You can also use an orange wood stick. So sometimes it's actually nice to use an orange wood stick because it's not as sharp as this guy, especially if there's a lot of cutting to do. So I'm going to have a lot of cutting here, so I'm going to actually use the orange wood stick. So you see here, I want to press this down, and actually I'm going to press it down with my finger first, but not too firmly, because if I do, I'm going to get my fingerprints in it. And I'm going to separate what is on the nail from what is on the skin. So I'm just going to dig in there a little bit and make sure to separate it. So you want to break that seal that is between the two of them. It's a little bit messy process, darlings. But that liquid latex is your friend. Oh man, I love that it's off center. That's actually really cool. It's a happy mistake, y'all. Okay, so at this time, I should be able to pull off my liquid latex, and a lot of this should come with it. Don't do that, people. There we go. Okay, this excess piece on the end, I'm going to fold it down until those come off. Oh yeah, baby, that looks cool. Oh my gosh, that looks really cool actually. Okay, so I am going to do a little bit more cleaning up here, but I probably won't do it until after my top coat is on. So once again, I'm going to go around and I'm going to make sure all of that is firmly pressed down. But I'm not going to do it too hard because if I do, then I'm going to get fingerprints in it. Okay, now here is my trick to making a manicure last for a long time, y'all. I use a gel top coat. Even if I use regular polish all underneath, I'll always use a gel top coat. It lasts longer. Period. End of story. For me, I have really weak, brittle nails, and they are very flexible. So if I have a gel top coat, it really helps me to be able to maintain a manicure longer. So let's put on a gel top coat. Okay, so I'm going to put my top coat on and I'm going to put a clear one on. And the way that I like to do my blings is I will put a nice thicker layer of top coat. I will then set the bling in, and then I'm going to put I won't go over the bling, but I'll go around it. Okay, so there's a little bit thicker of a coat. Make sure to clean up the edges. I'm going to pop that clear bling right in his spot now. And then because this is gel polish, I will cure for about 1.5 minutes, just because I like overkill. So this is what she looks before she's all cleaned up. And I don't have a whole lot of cleanup to do. Before I do that cleanup though, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this bling is on here solidly by adding around it, not on top of it. If you put it on top of it, it's going to lose its shine. So I'm going to put around it and around the whole nail, because if you don't do the whole nail, it'll be a little ridiculous looking. I'm sure that there are other people who use super glue or whatever it is that they use. I really have never had a problem with just regular top coat, so I just tend to stick with this so I don't have to get something else in addition to it. And then once I have this done, I will cure for yet another 1.5 minutes. Oh, y'all, I am satisfied. Okay. So there we have it. Now I am going to go in many times. You'll want to clean up around your cuticle. So once again, I have an Essence product. It's an eyebrow brush, and I use it for nail cleanup. I have 2 of them. This one's a little bit fatter because I have most of the cleanup done. I just want to make sure that I get inside that area. So I have a little tiny detail one, and then one a little bit thicker like this. Really, there's not too much to be done here. Looks pretty decent. Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm so satisfied. I mean, how many things did not go right? And here it is, a happy accident. Meow. So I wanted to zoom in just a little bit for you so you could see exactly what we're looking at. There is our reversed stamped awesomeness. So I do hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little bit about reverse stamping and how I do it anyway. And really the best thing to do is just get in there and try it. So this is not my first rodeo. And until we meet again, people, I do hope that you will follow me on Instagram at Groove Mama, and also decorate every nail you got. Bye!